Time is 7 o'clock. Very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for all of your presence. And yet, quite a few numbers, okay, would join. I'm sure that they'll be joining when we start the program or do a small recap, whatever we had discussions yesterday. And already, ma'am has joined, okay, sometimes back. And I won't take much time. It's my duty to formally start the session. And yesterday's session was excellent and very good feedback, okay, from MTC Global members. Okay, the session was fantastic. And thank you so much once again. And I request Dr. Vasanthi ma'am to kindly please take over the session. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your feedback. It motivates, and I hope the same attends with all the participants. I'll be sharing the slide now, and then I think we can, with a quick recap, we'll just take it forward. Coming to yesterday's session, we spoke about many things, basically a little bit of theory, of course, and a little bit of the way in which research activity can happen. And I also shared with you that research is not only from the learning point as a course, but it is also important for you to understand how a decision can be made in a more justified manner. So I had given a small activity, and I hope you all were able to do it. Did you find any challenges while doing it, or was it okay? Were you able to do it? Any responses? Is the slide being shared? Are you able to see the slide, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. Thank you, sir. So, any challenges you all faced while doing the part of the activity yesterday? Hello? See, I think we have very short time, so I'll just carry on. I presume that you did not have any problems. Today's session, we'll be talking about questionnaire, because yesterday we spoke about the type of data, the type of research you can do. I said basically there are three types, three ways in which you can pursue your research. One is through desk research, that is, you read a lot of literature already present, and then based on that, you give your suggestions, you give your opinion. That is one form of research. The other one is the primary research, wherein you go to the field, meaning you go meet the identified respondents, and we also understood the method of collecting data, different types of sampling, probability and non-probability. That those are the technical terms we use, and using those terms, because see, it's not important to know what term, but when you are mentioning it in an article, it looks more the process seems to be more disciplined. So that is why you need to mention. If you mention, it is always good. That's the meaning. uh, that's the idea behind it. So other than that, we also discussed about the process of doing a research study. So now, hopefully you have done that, and then you have understood certain concepts of research. Now today's session, we'll be studying these things, or understanding these things, or I'll share my knowledge on how you design a questionnaire. Yesterday I asked you to prepare a questionnaire in whatever way you know. Okay, no problem. There is nothing right or wrong. It is through practice that you learn. So I hope you were able to collect some responses. One is questionnaire designing, that I'll be showing you how a questionnaire can be designed. So if you've already prepared a questionnaire yesterday, after the session, you will be able to identify where you have gone wrong, or if you have really followed the same thing, then it's wonderful. And the second will be going to a hypothesis, a simple hypothesis. And then I'll be talking to you about scaling techniques, because most of the study that we do, okay, social scientists, I told you, the MBAs, the social workers, that is MSW, course students or research scholars, or those who are studying law, psychology, economics. So we all come under the social sciences. Why social sciences? Because we deal with human beings, their mindset. I said, if you're talking about HR, then you're talking about employees in an organization, and those employees are people. So you're trying to understand, are they happy with a kind of the new set of rules that is being introduced, or after the training, is there any improvement in their learning? As it increase the productivity of the company? So all this is dealing with society. Okay, society means people. Similarly, if it is economics, it's the same. If you're talking about law, and so on and so forth. So let me not delve into it. Let me not spend more time on that, because the whole idea is making you understand how you can write an article, how you can go about doing your research in the most simplest way. Because usually people feel research is very boring or cumbersome, or it's a huge mountain that you have to carry. It is not. Okay, so that is the objective of this today webinar. So next is structure of an article. So I'll be showing you, once you have your questionnaire, then you're framing your hypothesis. It's not that you're framing your hypothesis after the questionnaire, but I'm just showing you how you can frame a hypothesis. You can do a research study even without a hypothesis, a simple study. Okay, you, as a beginner, you can start without a hypothesis, and later, once you finish, you accomplish doing one paper, then as you review other literature, you will get an idea as to how you can frame a hypothesis. But I'll be showing you that. And then the structure of an article, and then the title of your study, how you give a title to your study, and then we follow up with an activity. So this is how the flow is going to be today. Now, the questionnaire design is, see, basically we have two ways of study. That is what we discussed yesterday, right? Secondary and primary study. In case of a secondary study, you don't need a questionnaire as such, because you're going through various literature. Literature means studies which has already been conducted. Now, yesterday, one article, I'll be taking that same example so that you'll be able to relate to the same example. Okay. And please make a note. In case you have a doubt, you can always clarify. So supposing we discussed about electric scooters, okay, two-wheelers. So if I'm doing a secondary study, what will I do? I'll be going through various studies that has already been done by various other researchers on two-wheelers. So somebody would have done a study on electric two-wheelers in Bangalore. Somebody has done it in Pune. Somebody has done it in Hyderabad. Somebody has done it in Mumbai. Like that, there'll be n number of articles on that. So I read all of them as much as possible. Not like if they are 1 lakh, it's not possible for me to read all the 1 lakh. But once you start reading a few, then you'll be able to identify which carries content and which does not. And so when you read different articles, meaning research work done by various people, you will get an idea as to, maybe you come up with some new ideas, you come up with some new concepts, or you identify there are certain areas which has not been touched by many of them. So you can give your suggestions and say, why can't somebody do a study on this particular aspect, on this particular topic? So this will be the outcome of your study, and that is through secondary research, and that, or a desk research, as I told you, and that doesn't require a questionnaire. But if you're doing a primary study, and I suggested that you go for a primary study so that you understand the concept of research in a better way. Okay, so this is only to understand, but you can still do a research using secondary data as well. Okay, now when you come to primary, primary means first, right? So you're going identifying. So yesterday I told you how you identify respondents. You give me answers as well. So I presume you've understood who is a respondent. How do you identify a respondent? So when I prepare a questionnaire, the benefit of a questionnaire is I don't miss out on any question. Because nowadays, as you have observed, you go to meet someone, you're talking to your friend, and you plan to ask something. You have some doubts, or you need some clarification, or you want to discuss something with your friend. And as you're talking to her, suddenly, him or her, suddenly there's a phone call and she gets distracted, or you get a phone call and you get distracted. And then you continue, you finish with your call, and then you talk to your friend. And then after she leaves or he leaves, then you realize, I forgot to ask her this question. Okay. So this can happen when you are collecting information for a research study as well. And in case of a research study, you see, you'll be meeting 20 people, 100 people, 500 people. So you might not be able to go back to them and ask them the same questions. We see they have been kind enough to spare some time to answer your questions, for you, helping you to collect data. And it is not right for us to keep going back again and again and asking them, I forgot to ask this question, please. I say it is not right. So how do you set that right? If you have a questionnaire, you have a set of questions, you can either give it to them and let them fill it at their convenience, or if it is a direct way in which you're collecting. So yesterday I also told you primary data can be even through interviews. You can collect data through interviews. So supposing you have this list with you, you can ask answers and then make a note of it. So a questionnaire is a preset, you know, collection of questions that you require for your analysis or for your study. So, but then you just can't write anything you want in a questionnaire. There's a format for it. Okay, because if you're asking a question, then that's not a problem at all, because you have the questions and then you're looking at the person and then you're requesting them, could you please tell me this, could you tell me your name, could you please share your opinion about electric scooters. See, you can do that and then write it down. But on the other hand, if you need 500 and if you keep looking for 500 people, it takes a long time. So what you would do is to share this questionnaire. You take a photocopy of that and then share it among all your friends, your classmates, your friends, and tell them to collect answers on behalf of you. So the questionnaire is speaking on behalf of you. So do you understand what I mean? The questionnaire should be very clear, so that you can, the person who reads it, even without you around, will be able to understand what you're trying to gather, and then be able to share the information that you want. I also told you yesterday that if we collect the wrong data, the analysis will be wrong. And if the analysis is wrong, then based on that, if we make any decisions, the whole thing is wrong. Okay. So collecting information, the right information, is very important. So questionnaire designing is one important part, one of the important parts. So the way in which you can collect data, when I said primary, I've mentioned certain things which you can see on your screen. So you can do it through surveys. Surveys, you're going out, meeting people and collecting information. Second is interview. So survey need not be only talking, it can even be observations. Okay. I've also mentioned that field observations. And then interviews, you can meet people, maybe you go to the HR department and speak to the HR manager, or you go to the finance department, speak to the finance manager or the marketing head, or it can be anyone, whoever you feel your study is requires a particular information from an individual, that way. Or it could be focus groups. Focus group is a set of people having the same kind of interest, or who are able to give you information on that. So it is usually what you see, in a simple way, I'm telling you, when you watch NDTV, CNN, all these news channels, sometimes they have this group discussion on a topic. and then there'll be some speaking for about for it or against it, and then see, you are listening to that and coming to a conclusion. No, now what I am talking here is you are calling people and then discussing and getting information. Okay, so that is focus groups. Then I said experimentation. That also I told you, that is a method of uh, collect or doing research. Here I said in social sciences, earlier we felt there is no experiments happening, but it does happen. You can have a set of employees who are given some kind of motivation. You would have heard about the Hawthorne experiment if you have already studied organization behavior. So if you look at all those, they are all experiments. Okay, so that can be done. And then it could be field observation, like you want to know which is the most popular vehicle, or what is the flow of traffic in your area at a particular period of time. So you go to that the junction where you have a traffic, more traffic flowing, and then you observe and see how many vehicular traffic is going, whether it is heavy traffic vehicle, like lorry and things like that, trucks and things like that, or is it more office goers during that time. So that is also a study. Okay, and maybe existing data, you already have existing data. So yesterday one of our audience, participant had sent me a message asking me, how can I collect data? This is secondary data. So this is where existing data we are talking about. So for existing data, if you have identified your study which is going to give you data from a particular institution, it could be a government, semi-government, or it could be a private institution as well. So supposing you need some data from a hospital, you need data about child care or something, so you're going to a hospital, a maternity hospital. So there you're getting data which is already existing, okay, for a year, or for 2 years, for 3 years, or you're doing a study on a systematic way, you're trying to find a correlation between children who have taken a particular kind of medicine, and how the parents, the mother, how healthy she is, and something like that. So you are using existing data, and then through experiment maybe, or it need not be an experiment, it can just be the existing data which you're using for your analysis, maybe two different hospitals, and then you're trying to find the difference between the kind of treatment being given to in provided in these two hospitals. So that way also you can do your study. So all these things you require a questionnaire. So designing a questionnaire requires a certain format. There is no nothing that it's totally fixed or something like that, but the way in which you write, the way you put yourself as the respondent. If somebody comes and asks you a question, what would make you reply to them? That is something that you need to consider when you ask a question. So I've written something which you can see on your screen. One is this is, we call it as a research instrument. Yes, I mentioned that so that I too don't forget to mention it to you. Questionnaire is considered as a research instrument. It's a research tool. Okay, and it should be designed with care, because if you are very rash, or the language is not clear, or it is you want to show that you are highly educated, and you put in all very heavy words, your questionnaire can be in your mother tongue as well. Because say supposing in Karnataka people speak in Kannada, and if I have to collect some information from a villager, that person may not know Hindi or English. So if I require data, I have to prepare that questionnaire in Kannada. So when I'm writing that questionnaire in Kannada, I should ensure that it is something which he can read and analyze. I should not put it in high Kannada terms or some literary terms. It might be correct, but it might not be suitable for this simple man who cannot understand the MA in Kannada literature kind of words. Okay, that is the meaning. You can't put in some words like I told you, questionnaire is a research instrument. Now, if I say, instead of writing questionnaire, if I mention research instrument, they might feel confused. So don't use those kind of words. So first thing that you do, when you, I'll show you a format of a questionnaire so that you understand after I explain this. You need to introduce yourself first, because supposing somebody comes and asks you a question, what's your income? Would you want to tell them? Or okay, many of you are students, so maybe it is not income. They may ask you, what is your percentage? Would you answer that? No. Even if you have a gold medal, you might want, the first question will be, your response will be, who are you, or why do you require this information? Correct? So introduce yourself first, and you say, I am a teacher. I'm working in this particular school, and I'm doing a study to find out how many, what is the ranking of students entering into or seeking admission in this particular institution, and hence I want to know your ranking. Could you please share? So probably you will feel happy to help, right? That way. So first introduce yourself, and then tell them that you're doing a study, and then request them to respond. Next is you're requesting the data, and ask the right questions. Don't ask too many questions. Even that, after 4 questions, they might not respond. And you should remember that if you share a questionnaire having say 10 questions and somebody has answered 9 and one is left out, the whole questionnaire is not valid. You can't use the 9 and leave the 10th one. All the questions should be answered. So remember that. Then you can give them options, meaning if you're giving them, you're asking them, do you like electric bikes? Don't put given a open-ended question. Now I'll come to open-ended and what is closed-ended. So if you give an open-ended question, they'll have to write the answer. I like electric bikes because so and so. So instead, you can give them options. Option is, yes, I like, yes, I haven't, or I haven't used an electric bike so far, or I don't know. You may give that option so that they just have to tick. That's the meaning of option. It's also called as close-ended questions. Okay, I'll give you an example about that as well. And question should be in a sequential order. So usually sequential means, usually I prefer it that way, because every questionnaire will have a demographic profile as well. Now what is demographic profile? Demographic profile is the details about the respondent, personal details of the respondent, like his name, age, gender, then maybe his income, his education qualification, his cultural background. All this comes under demographic profile. So I prefer writing a questionnaire. Firstly, I would introduce myself, and then request, tell them why I need this information, why I'm collecting this information from them, and then I thank them, and then I start with a questionnaire. I will start with part A and part B. Part A will be the demographic profile, where I'm asking them about their personal details, and then going to the actual data that I require for my study. The reason is because if the demographic profile is something all of us know, I know my name, I know my gender, I know my income, I know my cultural background, so it's easy for me to answer. So you're pulling them into your study, and then slowly keep asking them questions, so that, but don't make it confusing. Like first you're asking, what is your your name, and then second, have you used a electric bike, and then third one is, what is your income? See, it's like, mix and match. Don't do that. Okay, so the questions should be in a sequential order. It's not very difficult. Don't get anxious, you can practice and then read. There are a lot of you can find a lot of information available on the internet, which you can just go through, and you'll definitely be able to get it all right. And then include open-ended questions only when necessary, because if it's a closed-ended question, it is easy for you to analyze. But if it is open-ended, each one will give their own opinion, and it will be difficult for you to understand what they meant and then analyze that. So I'll be showing you the analysis as well, so you get a clear picture of what I'm trying to share with you. Now, yeah, these are the two types of questions I told you. One is close-ended and one is open-ended. And I said open-ended, try to avoid until and unless it is very necessary. Another thing is, many times if you have an open-ended question, very few people answer that. So try your best to ensure until and unless you feel it is necessary that you have to collect an open-ended question. So if you can see here on your screen, the first one is a close-ended question, because see here, how satisfied are you with our selection of products? And it is the option is very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. Don't you see a link there? Neutral is in between. On one side it is going higher, that is neutral. You can see one side it is satisfied, very satisfied. On the other side, neutral, dissatisfied, very dissatisfied. Can you see that? So it is like a chain. It progresses. Can you see that? So this is how a close-ended question. You call it as Likert scale as well. I will go to. I'll briefly be touching upon this. I won't be going into too many details. So these are questions which is very easy. But the second part of it, any comments, that's an open-ended question, because you're asking them to write something. Yes, I have some comment and I want to mention. Now, if I'm writing all that, it's open-ended. See, the second block that you can see. Please tell us why you have given this satisfaction rating for membership. Do you understand? Is it open-ended or close-ended? Can anybody answer? Is it open-ended or close-ended? The second one, please tell us why you have given the satisfaction rating for membership. Is it open-ended or close-ended?
Open-ended.
Yeah,
Open-ended.
wonderful, wonderful. So you understand that it is open-ended requires a lot. So I might answer in a different way. Somebody else might answer in a different way. And for you, it becomes difficult to analyze. Sometimes we might misinterpret what that person has written. So until and unless you feel that an open-ended is required, try to avoid that. Instead, give your own opinions as much as possible so that they can take it easy. Okay, so that is how the question should be framed. Now, if you look at this, I do not know if you're able to see. Do I have to expand it a little bit more? I don't know if it is possible. Yeah, can you see? Are you able to see the questionnaire? Survey
Yes,
questionnaire? Okay. Now, this is not what I've typed. I just took one which I felt is enough as a sample for you all. See, here you have a survey questionnaire. You can just mention it as a questionnaire. No worries. And the person I told you, you introduce yourself. So here this person has written, "Dear respondent, we are marketing students of the College of Business Administration or a university of the East. We are working on a research on the effect of what is that? I'm not able to see that. Infomercial of okay, it is something like information and commercial, something like that, to put together, of politicians to the student voters of the University of the East. May we request to kindly answer the questions in the survey questionnaire. The information you provide will enable our group to attain the purpose of the study. Thank you for your cooperation." The researchers, there's no harm if you write your name as well. So here what you've done, you've just addressed the respondent. you're introducing yourself, and you're telling the kind of informational your study on informational politicians to the student voters of the University of East. That is your title, and you're requesting them to give some responses which can help you to progress in your study, and then thanking them. That is a brief. That is enough. That's not necessary to write any stories. That's enough. And then when you come down, this is part A, as I told you. If you can see, name, they've mentioned is that optional, and it has to be open-ended, correct? Because you can't write everybody's name and ask them to tick. Then your paper, your questionnaire will be 100 pages. So no. So that can be open-ended. And then the age. Now, another thing about age is some people don't like to mention their age. So instead of keeping it as an open-ended question, you can give it as a bracket. Okay. Give a bracket like 25 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and so on. So that is much more convenient. Respondents feel more convenient in answering that. Not only age, even income. People don't like to share, not all would like to share their income. So there again, you can put it in a bracket, like 50,000 to 75,000, 75,001 to 1 lakh, or something like that. You can give that bracket for people to check. Then college and course, of course, has to be open-ended. So here you don't do much analysis for name, college name, and so on. Okay, so you can do that. Then see, here they have mentioned the meaning of infomercial is similar to a television commercial. It informs the viewing public about a politician who has the intention to run for an elective position in a national election. See, that is very a good way of making the respondent understand what is their topic about, because this is a very new name. Okay, so, and then goes the other question. So the first one that you saw, your name, year, level, college, course, age, gender, all that is demographic profile. And then they are coming to the other questions, like first one, please answer the following questions. Put a check mark on the box of your answer. Are you a registered voter? Yes or no? So see, these are close-ended questions. So you're getting, since he's talking about voting, he's talking about politician, he's talking about certain information that he requires, he's talking about only that. He's beating to the point, because if it is too long, you will not get the respondent to answer your questionnaire, and that is very important. Without a questionnaire, you can't get data, and without data, you cannot do your research. Okay, so that is very important. So I hope you're getting it. I'll show you some more as we go further. The next is hypothesis. I added this because yesterday one of our attendees had asked me about that formulation of hypothesis. Now, I told you about null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. Now, why do we need a hypothesis? If you're doing a simple study, there's no need for you to have a hypothesis. If you have a hypothesis, then you will have to test the hypothesis. Okay, so if the hypothesis states that you feel, it's in your opinion that majority of the people prefer an electric bike. Majority of the people prefer an electric bike. If that is your hypothesis, your null hypothesis, your alternate will be not many people like, right? That's the alternate. Now, if you're mentioning this as your hypothesis, you have to nullify that. How? Through your statistical analysis. You collect data and then you do a statistical analysis to find out whether you can nullify that statement. People think it is like that, but it is not. This is what you're trying to say. Okay, so that is why you need a hypothesis. A hypothesis, of course, makes your study much more justified or gives more weightage to your study. But otherwise, you can still do a study without a hypothesis. So maybe your first study that you're trying, if you're attempting a first study, you can do it without a hypothesis. And I feel a few of you all are not students, but maybe you're pursuing your research. In such case, maybe you don't have to listen to this. You can start framing a hypothesis, and then you need to you need to test the hypothesis. Again, testing doesn't mean you use, if supposing in my study I've done a study to find the difference between two products, then I'm testing for correlation. Whereas supposing a test has been done, maybe I might require to do a t test, maybe, or maybe chi-square test, because I presume something, and then I, after getting the results, I want to see whether that is matching. In such case, so you need some statistical analysis to be done. If you're testing, if you have a hypothesis, you need to test the hypothesis. If you don't have a hypothesis, you don't need any testing to be done. Those who are students here, I would suggest you do your first study without any hypothesis. Once you get the hang of writing, then you can always add a hypothesis. And then, as I told you, reading is very important. Go through a lot of other studies, how they have done their study, how they have progressed, what type of test they have used. So if I've used correlation, doesn't mean you too have to use correlation. From your objective point of view, it might be entirely different. You might be requiring ANOVA test. So then you will have to do that and not this, okay, or a regression analysis or whatever. So that is the concept of a hypothesis. Yeah. Now I've told you what is a hypothesis. I've highlighted it. It's an educated guess. Let me make it a little smaller. Yes. So it's an educated guess. What do you mean by educated guess? That is logical guessing. You understand that if this is it, then probably everybody likes to do it. Everybody would want to do it. So that is why you're saying. So this is something, the children like chocolates. It's an educated guess, because every time you show chocolates, not only children, even people like us, as old as me, will also like chocolates, right? So when I'm talking about myself, what about a child? Because anything sweet everybody likes, right? So it's an educated guess. That's the meaning. Okay. So it is a statement that consists of variables. A statement consisting of variables. So I'll give you some examples for that as well. An independent variable and a dependent variable. And additionally, it also consists of a control variable. Usually a hypothesis is a statement, and this statement will have an independent variable. I'll give you one that example as well. I've included that. So that statement, that hypothesis statement, will consist of a independent variable, a dependent variable. So you understand what is dependent and independent, right? Like supposing, okay, I'll go to the example later. And then it also has a control variable. Okay, so let us understand what is this. Instead of looking at it theoretically, let us get into the example, so that will be easy for you to understand. So I have written this: increase in advertisements on television leads to increase in sales. Meaning, if I have a product and I want more sales, so I feel if I given more advertisements on television, people will see that, and then they get attracted to the product and they will buy my product. And if they buy my product, there's going to be more sales. I hope you're getting it. Just a minute, the power is going down. Sorry for that. So increase in advertisements on television leads to increase in sales. I think you're getting that. Now, this is the hypothesis. Generally, this is what we understand, isn't it? If I say that, then this is my null hypothesis. What's my null? H naught. H naught is increase in advertisements on television leads to increase in sales. Now, what is the independent variable here? I think you would have already read it, because I've written the answer. The reason is because not to waste time. Okay. I've mentioned, so the independent variable is advertisement. The dependent is sales. So what is sales? Dependent on advertisement. Okay. And what is the control variable? The number of advertisement is the control variable. I hope I've made it clear. Any questions here, please? Have you understood what is a hypothesis? Because yesterday you asked me a question. I try to give a little more input here so that it is clear. So you can frame this. So now the next step of this is I have to test it. How do I test it? I have to collect information through my questionnaire. And in the questionnaire, the answer that I'm going to have in my the questions that I'm going to have in my questionnaire would be asking the respondents, have you seen this XYZ advertisement on television or whatever, whichever media that I am proposing. Here the company might propose radio advertisement, that is audio advertisement, or maybe the advertisement on television, or it could be advertisement on hoardings, whatever. Okay, so I am going to ask that question in my questionnaire, asking them, have you observed this or heard? If it is radio, then have you heard this advertisement on radio? Did that motivate you to buy this product? So these are questions that I have to ask. If they say no, then it means that this null hypothesis is not true. The alternate is true, meaning what? Increase in advertisement is not leading to increase in sales. People are buying it maybe because of word of mouth, or maybe my products, I have a good supply chain and hence the people are buying that product. It's not because of advertisement. So what is the resultant action by the company? They need not advertise. They need not spend so much of money on advertisement. That is it. Okay. I hope it is clear. Yeah, somebody has raised their hands.
A small doubt. Okay.
Yeah.
When we are setting the hypothesis,
Yeah.
it is mandatory to have both independent and dependent variable in the statement.
Yes.
Or something will be in a hidden form and we can able to explain it.
I don't understand what you mean by hidden.
Hidden means, for example, sale increase in the sale. Okay, if I'm not mentioning the name of advertisement, means that is basically independent variable. Means okay, the hypothesis will be fulfilled or it will not fulfilled, or it is must to have both.
No, your hypothesis needs to be clearly set. That's the meaning.
Okay.
See, if I'm saying I want to, for example, I say I want to go to the temple. Which temple, when, where is also important, isn't it?
Okay.
I just can't say temple. If I want to go to a temple, that is correct. But where, when, which temple? That is also important, right?
Okay. Those things are.
So when you're mentioning a statement, it should be clear. It should not be vague. Now, what you're trying to say is, can your hypothesis be a vague statement? If it's a vague statement, you cannot test it.
Okay.
There's no opportunity to test. That is the reason. That is what I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you.
Have I cleared? Okay. So this is basically it. This is an example of how the hypothesis is and how you're framing it. Now, I also told you, I'm just repeating quickly. Here, I mentioned increase in advertisement on television leads to increase in sales. So here, the independent variable is advertisement, dependent is sales, and the control variable is the number of advertisement. Now, how do I test this? I have a questionnaire. The questionnaire, I'm going to mention something related to this because I want to know whether if there is an increase in advertisements on television, which I mentioned here, is leading to the increase in sales in my company. So now when I ask questions like, have you seen this advertisement on television? Has that influenced you to purchase my product? In these two questions almost give me an answer to whether there is an increase of sales because of advertisement. If now I take 50 people who answer this questionnaire and 45 say, I have not seen the television advertisement at all. But I buy it because that's very easily available. It is quite competitively priced. and it is competitive means, it's quite cheap, and that way, and it is very easily available. That means I get it everywhere. In any shop I go, I don't have to go looking for it, only go to city and buy it. I can get it in the mall which is close to my home as well. That's the meaning. Okay, so in that case, if 45 people say that and only 5 have mentioned that they watched the television and got influenced to buy that, in that case I'm wasting money on the advertisement. What should I do? I should try to make sure that my product is available more and more. So instead of spending that money on advertisement, I can use that money to maybe reduce the cost of this product, so that more and more people, market penetration we call it. Okay, so more and more people can buy my product because I'm reducing the cost of my product. I can enhance my supply chain so that the product reaches every corner of that city, so that more and more people get accustomed to it. Like how the sachet concept came into existence. Now I don't want to get diverted into marketing and all, but since I've started it, I'll tell you. See, if I have to buy a shampoo which is costing say 600 rupees, not everybody will be able to afford that 600 rupee 500 ml bottle. I'm just giving an example. Okay, some XYZ shampoo. But how do I, very few people will buy that. How many will be able to afford 600 rupees for one bottle of shampoo? Rather than that, if I sell it in a sachet, no, this is what you see. So that is a revolutionary concept that happened, and then everybody's doing that. So you have a sachet for 5 rupees. Many people, even the people at the bottom of the pyramid means those coming under the lower income group. Okay, they too can be part of your your product consumer. That person can also be part of that, your consumer. He can become your consumer. Whereas if you're selling it for 100 and 500, you may have very few people. So that you can do, because you understood people are not looking at your advertisement, they're looking at availability. You can get it anywhere, any small shop, you can get that product easily. So then you make it available more and more. You can reduce the cost. You give it at a discount of 1 rupee. You'll have more customers. See, it is helping you to make proper decisions. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Another thing is, when you're collecting, please be careful about this. When you're collecting your responses, your questionnaire should also be framed properly, so that the person who's answering to your question should understand the questions very clearly. That's why use very simple language and ask the right person about it, so that you can get the correct response. And based on that correct response, you can do the analysis, so that you can make the right kind of decisions for your company, or for anything for that matter. I hope I'm clear. Okay, now here we have something called as measurement scales. This I'll just quickly touch upon, because if I jump or skip this, it'll I too will not be satisfied, one. And secondly, this is something that you should be aware of. So we have different kind of measurement scales. I told you, especially when we are talking about social sciences, we need it. So they are different. These are the 4 important scales. Okay, one is the nominal scale, wherein you group in things based on their features or their characteristics. Then it is a nominal scale. So here this is a image. Okay, it's not something that I've typed, it's an image. So here one example they've given is for nominal scale eye color. So all those who have brown eyes or black or blue eyes, they're put into different groups. Or another example could be people working, employed. So it could be businessmen, working in private organizations, working in public organizations. So that way. Okay. Or it could be an ordinal scale. So ordinal scale is what I showed you previously. Satisfied, very not satisfied, that way. If you're putting it in that way, then it's an ordinal, in an order. Or it can be an interval scale. I told you about age, I told you about salary, where you're not writing what is your salary, what is your income. Instead of that, what are you putting? 10,000 to 20,000, 21,000 to 20,001 to 30,000, 30,001. So this is interval scale. Okay, in different intervals. Or it could be a ratio scale. Ratio scale is usually taken from base 0. Okay, you find a ratio, so it could be ratio scale as well. So these are the 4 scales that you can use for in your questionnaire. And the scaling technique, there is no fixed technique as such, so you can use what you feel appropriate for your study. Okay, and the factors that is included, I have just mentioned here. It could be based on the problem or the topic that you're focusing on, your objective of your study, or it could be the kind of statistical analysis that you're using, or it is maybe because there's a choice, so you're doing a comparative study even then, or maybe it is a forced versus non-forced categories. What is forced and non-forced categories? Forced is you're forcing your respondents to give an answer. Okay, they have to give an answer. So sometimes you see that in Google Forms, some questions they have to answer, they have to give some answer on that. Only then they can send it to you, or they can proceed to the next page. Forced answer is you have to give you're giving them so many options and telling them to choose from among that. That's a forced category. Non-forced is name is a non-forced category, because you don't use names for any kind of analysis. Okay, that way. See, this is an example of a Likert scale. I'll just, I think you will be able to see that. Can you see this? One question is, I would like to be treated as an individual by my bank. And just a general question, okay? And then you can see boxes, and then it is in a particular order. So I think you understand this is an ordinal scale. So strongly agree, neither agree nor disagree, strongly disagree. So can you see extremes are very high. As it comes in into the center, it is almost like coming to neutral. So you can give answer questions like this and then ask them. So this is a closed-ended question, and it is in an ordinal scale. I'm not reading all of them because I think it is not necessary. This is one important thing which, of course, this will be shared to you. Some common words which you can use. So it will help you when you're framing your questionnaire, So that's why I thought it will be useful. So if it is based on quality, if you're doing something on the quality of a product, like supposing you're doing a study on Colgate toothpaste, you want to speak about the quality of the toothpaste, then you're writing this way: excellent, or very good, good, not decided, neither good nor bad. You can use any one, or it could be fair. The next is poor or fair, or then worst or poor, something like that. If it is importance, then you're writing very important, fairly important, neutral, not so important, not at all important. If it is interest, satisfaction, truth, and frequency, I think it's not necessary for me to read all that, but you can use these for framing your questionnaire. And the factors that you need is mentioned here. That is quality, or based on importance, or based on interest, or satisfaction, or truth, or frequency. You can use them. So once you start using, you get your own. It's not necessary that you have to use the same words. You can use a simile as well, no problem. And what is the objective of classification? Why do you have to classify? Like I told you, ordinal scale and nominal scale. Why do you have to do that? Interval scale and ratio scale. There are 4 scales I told you. Why do you have to classify the data? One is to when you get a huge amount of data. So if you now I gave you an activity to do it on maybe 5 or 10 people, so there the data is very small, so you feel why you require it. But when you're actually doing your research, or as I told you, research is not only what you do in your college or for a PhD scholar. If you're working in a company, you'll have huge amount of data. One is maybe the employees. If it's a company having 500, 700 employees, you will have data there itself, because you're doing a study on the employees day in and day out. Because without that, you can't come up with new concepts. You can't come up with new, you can't introduce something new. It could be process, or it could be if you're in the marketing department, then it is very, very much required. Because without, why do you sell a product? to satisfy the needs of the customer. And you have to always know what a customer requires. So that research is very much important. So customers can be crores together, right? It's not 5 or 10 customers who are buying a product. So to condense that huge data, you need to classify, and then to make it easy for tabulation. Now I'll go to tabulation, I'll be showing you that. And then to identify and study the relationship between the data, like, I told you, I've taken two companies, Pepsodent and Colgate, and see what makes people buy Pepsodent and what makes customers buying Colgate. These two companies are giants, so they are very close competitors, or Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So what makes a customer prefer this instead of this? All that, it helps you identify relationship, and it also helps you to do easy comparison. So that is the reason why you classify the data. And so I think I've covered those main aspects. Now let's go further. When you're doing data analysis, what are the things that you do? This is how you do it. Okay, so now once you get your questionnaire, now yesterday I told you about research process. Okay, so in that research process, I told you you're going to collect data and then you're going to analyze the data. So that analysis part is what I'm talking about. Okay, so this analysis, you're going to get the data, like you're given your questionnaire and you've got back all those questionnaires. Once you get the questionnaire, what you're going to do is you're going to edit. What is edit? You don't need the name. You don't need the phone number. Or for that question, like I said, I gave you a hypothesis statement a little while ago. In that hypothesis statement, I mentioned more advertisement means more sales. So based on that, you are given a question. Let us presume you are given a question. Have you seen this my company's advertisement on television? Has that advertisement influenced you to purchase this product? Maybe these two questions you have asked. So you need only those. You would have asked so many others for some other objectives. You don't need that. You need only to identify for this particular hypothesis, we need these two questions. So you're removing the others. Removing means you're not deleting. You're taking only data from these two answers. That is editing. And then you're coding. Coding, it means, I'll show you how you code it. And then you classify, you tabulate it, and then you do a statistical analysis. Even a graph is a statistical analysis. Okay, a kind of a simple statistical or percentage, that is also very simple. And then after, you can go in for other kind of your chi-square test or whatever. And then you interpret the data and then you give a summary. I hope this is clear. I think when we go a little more further, it'll the clarity will be more. So yeah, I'm going to show you a questionnaire for yeah, I think I'll go for this questionnaire for a housing loan. This again, I found it somewhere. Somebody had asked me to answer this, so I use it for when I'm showing it to those who are doing a study. I don't know why it's taking too long. Maybe I'll use something else. Yeah. Is it visible? Is the questionnaire visible?
No, madam.
No? Okay, okay. Then I'll do one thing. Just a minute, then I will. Simple paper. And a full paper. Yes. I put a link so that it's easy for me to share, but somehow, unfortunately, that's not happening. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. Thank you. So if you can see this, I'll just make it a little smaller. Yeah, I hope it is visible now. See, this is a questionnaire. Again, it's like a quick recap for you. I showed you one earlier. I'm showing you another one, a questionnaire. And then, dear respondent, my name is so and so. You can write your name if you want to. It's not important that you write a name. You can keep it confidential, but don't write any pseudo name. Just mention that I'm a researcher, or I'm a student of a particular institution, or I'm a student pursuing my MBA or something like that, or I'm a research scholar of a particular university, and I'm pursuing a study to know the opinion of customers, whatever your topic is. But this study is about opinion of customers availing housing loan in Bangalore city. In this connection, I would be grateful if you could kindly cooperate and fill this questionnaire. The information will be used purely for academic purposes and will be kept confidential. Thanking you in advance. So this is a brief. Okay. Now the second one is part A. Part A is your name, optional, because you don't require the name. Name is not going to help you very much, but if you're giving your name, that is fine. Then age. Can you see this now? The age is not specified. It's not a open-ended question. It is below 30 years, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. So, it's easy for them to answer. Similarly, next one is occupation. So this part A is called as, can you please recollect? What is part A called as? Those kind of questions?
Demographic.
Yeah, it is called demographic profiles. Okay. So it's all about the respondent. So he knows everything. He'll be about himself. So you're trying to make it easy for him, giving those easy questions and then pulling him inside. So I'm showing you how the flow of questions happen. Okay. So I'll be quickly reading them. Occupation, then your annual income. Can you see that annual income? It's not open-ended. It is, again, can you see this? Okay, it is like below 2 lakhs, 2 lakh to 5 lakhs, 5 to 8 and above 8. Now coming to this housing loan questions on housing loan. Part B. What is the tenure of your home loan? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years and above. And then, sorry, the second question. I don't know what is happening here. Second is, do you prefer public sector banks for housing loan because of low rate of interest? So strongly agree, disagree. So, okay. Next question. I'm only going through the questions so that you understand better. I mean, we can cover more things better. Did you select housing loan scheme based on interest policy? So then they say strongly agree, disagree. Now coming to the fourth question, I've highlighted something. That's because, see, did you face a dilemma whether to go for a fixed rate or floating rate of interest for home loans? Now somebody answering that may have taken a housing loan, because here you need only people who have taken a housing loan, correct? You can't take a respondent who has not availed of a housing loan. They will not be able to give you the correct answer. They cannot say, yeah, my uncle had taken a loan and I'm going to answer on behalf of him. No, the answer will be wrong. You have to take it from people, if you, like I said, correct data. So get it from the right person. Now here, somebody would have taken a loan based on the banker telling you it's better you go for a floating rate. So you do not listen, you don't ask him any question. You just say, okay, whatever is good for me, please do it for me, sir. And he puts it as floating rate. So you're not aware at all. But now you have a questionnaire. Somebody is asking you, you've taken a loan, and what made you take it? Was it fixed rate or floating rate of interest? And then you're giving this highlighted one. What I've highlighted is you're giving a brief mention of what is the meaning of fixed rate and what is floating rate. So this dilemma might have arisen if you have difficulty in understanding the difference between fixed rate and floating, right? So if you tell them what it is briefly, you will be able to understand. So see in the second question, note that do you feel that a floating interest rate is better than a fixed interest rate? Note that the floating rate keeps changing based on the current market rates, whereas the fixed interest remains the same, unchanged. Okay, so you're making it simple for them also to, for them means the respondent to answer to your question. Okay, and so on. Next question is, do you feel that hybrid home loan interest rates are better than fixed or floating interest rates? Now, what is hybrid? Note that in the case of hybrid interest rates, the interest rate remains fixed for initial 1 to 5 years, and thereafter it automatically moves to a normal floating rate of interest. So that's the meaning of hybrid. See, you're asked questions like this so that they understand. I hope you're getting it. Okay, so this is how it goes. This is a bigger questionnaire going to around 6 pages. I'm not going to read all of them, but then this is how it flows. This is how it is done. Okay. Now, I think I will go for another presentation.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello. Ma'am, there is
Yes.
no any open-ended question in this questionnaire. Open-ended
No.
question.
Yes. As I told you, it is better to have close-ended question. Now, supposing you have mentioned an open-ended question, why did you, if I take the same questionnaire and if I say, why did you choose a floating rate of interest? And I keep it as an open-ended question. Okay. Now,
Yes.
some person A might mention, I found it more convenient. Somebody else may mention, my banker told me to do it. Someone else might mention, my parents advised me to do it. Now, how are you going to analyze? It becomes difficult for analysis. That is why I said it is always better to go for closed-ended questions.
Okay, but sometimes, suppose if it's necessary to put that
Yeah, that is
open-ended
what I
question.
mentioned. That is what I said. Wherever necessary, only then you include an open-ended question.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes it is necessary to mention an open-ended question. But if you're mentioning an open-ended question, make sure that there is no other option. So that is why you're asking them. And many a time, the open-ended question might not be answered. They may not answer. And if they don't answer, your whole questionnaire might be wasted. So that is the reason, try to ensure that you have options. See, people nowadays don't have time to go through anything. You know, earlier, maybe we are in lucky times. Earlier, for a research scholar, he had to sit and type out everything. He or she has to write and type out everything, send the questionnaire by post. And after sending by post, the person may not even reply back. So you have to send postage charges also so that they respond back, maybe in an envelope. It used to be so tough. And nowadays we don't have that problem. And forget about emails. You have WhatsApp and you can just keep on sharing to groups and then keep requesting them to respond. You will somehow get some responses. Okay, so if they answer the first half and the second half is all open-ended, they may not answer your questions at all. Many questions. People don't have time to sit and write. So tick answers, they'll do it very easily. Moreover, it is easy for you to analyze as well. I'll come to that also. I'll just show you that. I'll show you how it comes to, we can...
Interpretation of qualitative data.
Yes, interpretation becomes easier when you have a closed-ended question than a open-ended, because many people will have a different way of expressing the same thing. And if you are not able to understand what they try to say, then your interpretation becomes wrong. And obviously, that's a chain reaction, right? So whatever you're trying to what do you say, find a solution to might be the wrong solution, because this is the kind of answers you're getting. Okay. I'm moving forward. The style of writing, try to ensure that is the questionnaire, okay? And also, after you get your questionnaire, you're interpreting it. You're writing your paper. So make the language simple. Your questionnaire as well as what you're writing, your report. Try to be precise. Clear and accurate presentation is always appreciated. Let it have a logical sequence and proper drafting. Ensure that there is no grammatical error, or um, the language that you use is simple, easy to understand. Don't use religion. Don't try to do studies on religion, politics. It's okay for somebody who is seen at that helm of affairs. If a person does, now supposing I'm talking about politics, a politician does that, is accepted. But a person like me or you, I'm not a politician, or you, I guess maybe people are not that much into politics, or you people are students or research scholars, something like that. If we get into that, we may not be able to defend, because we are not that, because these are all very sensitive matters. Religion, politics are all very sensitive matters. Don't try not to touch upon those kind of topics. Okay, so it can be misinterpreted, and that can fall back on you. So that's a simple advice. It doesn't mean nobody will do that. It is only those, as I told you, who have that stronghold on that. For them it is okay. You would have also read of people having all that power and still facing backlash from people. For for sometimes it sounds very silly, but you'll have so many asking, why did they do this? Or you would have seen that on Twitter. Some famous actor or maybe a politician writes something, then there are 100 people who speak for or against. So they can, for them it is okay, but not for people like you and me. So try not to avoid that. That is what I'm just trying to, it's a suggestion, that's all. Okay. And then now coming, you got your questionnaire, now you collected the data. Now how do we go about it? Now you start with an abstract. Abstract is always at the beginning of your article, but it is always written at the end. Okay. An abstract is what do you say, a summary, a brief about your whole study, like how this study is about. It's just like, giving an interest, creating an interest to a reader to come read my whole paper. You're calling them to read, so you're making that interesting, like you're giving a brief about what that topic is and what is the outcome of that study as well. So that is the meaning of that abstract. Okay, so the abstract is written at the beginning of the, I mean, it is placed in the beginning of your article, but it is written at the end. After the whole paper is written, you only then you get a summary. That summary is written there. Then comes the introduction. I'll show you a paper as well. Then the method that you have used. This is what we discussed yesterday. The methods, that is your what kind of study that you have done, and then the techniques that you have used, and if you have used any charts, if you have used any statistical analysis, your hypothesis, then the kind of sampling that you have chosen, all that. Then comes the, based on that you have some results, your results, and then the findings and conclusion. And then I told you bibliography, or your references, whatever you have referred through various other literature that you're mentioning there. Okay, this is the flow of the paper. Now when this is the flow of the paper throughout, maybe you have different styles of writing as well. That might change a little bit, but almost this is the same format that is used throughout everywhere. Okay, so it is not going to be some rocket science for you. Now this structured paper, I do not know if it will open. Let us see. This is an example of a full paper, and I tried to collect one based on yeah, it opened. Is it visible?
No,
Is it?
madam.
No.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
No.
oh, okay, okay, okay. Then it doesn't work, I guess. So I'll have to. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do it. So I have two papers here. I'll just show you. One is a simple paper written by a student. So yeah, I think it's visible now. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now this study, as you can see, is about, I try to find this, a study on customer perception towards electric two-wheelers in Chennai. See, I'm not reading the letter, but I mean the article, but I'm showing you the format of that article so that you get an idea. This is published in a journal, so we don't have to worry about that, and you just focus on the flow. Okay, like I told you, the abstract, then the introduction. No, that is exactly what my view is. My objective is for you to understand. So you have written the title. This is the title, followed by the name of the author. See, one more thing, each journal will have its own guidelines that you can follow, but the overall format, the blueprint is the same. So you have the title, then you have the abstract. See, the abstract is a what do you say, a brief about what these two people have done on their in their study. That's the meaning. I don't read. So this abstract reads this way: global warming has become the primary concern all around that, and then the automobile companies have felt the need to innovate vehicle. As a result, they have invented through R&D electric bikes, and this study focuses on understanding the customer perception towards two-wheelers across Chennai city. Responses were collected from around 120 bike users to analyze the essential factors, and the data was analyzed using univariate and bivariate tools such as chi-square and one-way ANOVA. So did you understand a brief about what this study is all about? So if it is creating interest in the reader, then you'll want to know how did they do this analysis, and what do people in Chennai actually feel. You want to know that, then you go further. Okay, so abstract is just telling you what the study is about. Then see, yeah, you can see. Okay, so the next is keywords. Yeah, keywords is something important because keywords is not going to help any other person. The thing is, when you give keywords, the search engine will help in identifying your study when somebody else wants to read your study. It is like, you know, a kind of index for the search engine. So that is why you use keywords, and you should be using it. Only then you can have your citations happening. There are different ways of citing. That's a different thing altogether. We are focusing only on writing a research article, and this is how it goes. So you have the title, you have the abstract, but I told you abstract is written beginning, but when do you write it? After the whole paper is written, then the brief about the paper, you put it on top of your paper. This is the abstract. So this is the format. If you see any journal, any article, this is how it will be done. Then comes the introduction. As I told you, we have spoken about customer perception. So what is customer perception and what is electric bike? They've given a brief about that. Then coming to the statement of the problem. That is why they feel it is necessary to do that study. Then they've come to the objective of the study. And then they have come to the review of literature. Then see literature. Can you see this? They have gone through a few literature. Since it is an article for a journal, they have not shown very many literature. They have just shown 2 or 3. Just a minute, please. I'll just. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can see this now. They have written Kunal Dalvi 2020. That means that the name of the author, and 2020 is the year when it was published. Okay, so they've just mentioned what that person has said about that article, about their article, and what they have adopted from that article for their study. That is the meaning of review of literature. You are acknowledging that you have taken this idea from these authors and come up with this paper. You need to acknowledge, right? Otherwise, it is like stealing somebody else's idea. That is the whole, that is one of the concept of review of literature. And then the methodology. Yesterday we spoke about that. See, research and sampling method. The sample size used for the study is 120. Statistical tool. Initially they have written the study adopted the descriptive research and convenient sampling technique. Can you see that? So that is it. Then the sampling size, sampling, a statistical tool use. Primary data was collected and was analyzed using chi-square test and one-way ANOVA, and so on. Then comes the analysis and interpretation. Like if you see here, you can understand this is a table, okay? So this is frequency, means number of female who have responded 43 and male 77. So totally they have 120 respondents. This is the percentage, how to convert that to percentage, right? So here, if you look at the diagrammatic representation, when you look at the table, it might not be very clear, but when you look at the diagrammatic representation, it gives you an instant answer, right? So if you look at the diagram, you can understand that there were less female and more male who responded to this questionnaire. Similarly, you'll have here the age group. So their age group, the respondents are 18 to 25 years were more when compared to those between 26 to 40 and 41 to 50 years. Similarly, see, I'm just looking at the diagram, okay? I'm telling you. So awareness on electric bikes, yes, majority were aware of the electric bikes and very few were not. See, when you look at this, if you have taken responses from those who are not aware, how can they give a correct answer? So you need to have only those who know about it, right? So this is how you judge a paper. Then factors influencing. See, I didn't, this is something I found on the internet and I wanted to highlight. So that's the reason, not to put the authors down. They have, the student has done some work and we should appreciate that. But I'm just highlighting to make you understand not to make such mistakes. Then factors influencing purchase of electric bike. What makes people purchase electric bikes? So they have found different factors. One is because it is environmentally friendly. They feel that they are contributing to the to lessening the carbon footprints. So that is why. One, some feel that the cost is less when compared to fuel run bikes. It is cheaper. So that is why. Or no need of registration. And some feel it is safe. And that is the reason they are buying. These are the factors and they found. See, if I would have put an open-ended question, it would have been difficult for me to analyze. Because I'll have to, each one would have given a different answer and 120 answers would be very tough for me to analyze. And I might also misinterpret. Sometimes the language might be different. So that's the problem. And then see, they have done a chi-square test and they have analyzed it. Based on the chi-square test, they have given the interpretation saying, since this is it, this is the correct way, or this is how we take. So discussions or findings, this is the findings that they have given here. And then based on that, they have given some suggestions. Okay. And then I'll go to the conclusion and then see the references. Can you see the references? These are the references that this particular student has done for his study. So it is Ashish Agarwal in Market Analysis of Electric Toys, Journal of Engineering and Management Sciences. It was published in the year 2014, page 4 to 27. Volume 4, page 27 to 38. That's the meaning. So why do we give it? Now, supposing one among you want to do a study on electric bikes, probably you can go to the reference and, go to that study done by Ashish Agarwal and then get to know more about how, what is their findings. That can give you some more ideas of how to go forward or take your study forward. Okay. So this is one study. There's another study. I think this is the one. Yeah. Is the slide visible? Is it? Oh, okay. Okay, good. So this is a much better study, I can say. When the first one was a very simple paper, just to make you all understand about how a paper can be written. As I told you, don't worry about how the paper is. Your paper is going to be. Just try and then you can improvise. So here, this study speaks about a study on customer satisfaction towards electric bikes with special it should be special reference to Coimbatore city, and you have the author names. Again, you have abstract, then the introduction, keywords, of course, then the introduction, statement of the problem, objectives to the study. Objectives means the goal. What based on the objectives, you prepare your questionnaire. That is how it is done. Then the methodology of the study. Then the tools used. They've used simple percentage analysis. They've used chi-square test and Likert scale. Then the review of literature. See, all this is a review of literature. You can see that. I'm just scrolling, but I think you're able to understand. I presume you are able to understand. So this is all the literature review. See, the bracket, in the bracket, what you see is the year in which it was published. The name is the author of that article that you would have referred. So it is important that you mention that. And then see, they started with their percentage, simple percentage analysis that they have done. They have not used much diagrams, I guess. See, for each question that they have in their... Sorry? Yeah, please tell me.
Is there any restrictions of that much of papers or books we have to refer for any paper? Is there number of books or number of...
Yes, yeah, I'll see. It is not, there is no minimum number or maximum number, but it is always advisable to read as much as possible, because each author will have a different perspective to a particular topic, towards a particular objective. And there are different methods also. See, initially you would be reading, and later, within a few, if you do your exercise well, it's my opinion, if you start reading, initially you might find it boring, but after some time, within a few minutes of reading an article, you will be able to identify whether it carries some weight or not. And you will be able to get more and more information about your particular topic. So it is always advisable to read as much as possible. The more you read, the more inputs you can give to your study. Your study becomes will carry more justification and weightage. You also learn new methods of research that someone else is doing. Now somebody has done a study on electric bikes in Australia. You will know what is the kind of maybe sometimes you even get to know the legal aspects between India and Australia, because you already know what is happening in India. Now you get to know what is happening in Australia as well. So your knowledge becomes more widened. So reading is never a loss. It's always good. Okay. Yes. Okay. Shall I move? Okay. So here, see, you can see another thing here. After the question, did advertisement influence your buying decision? You have a response here. And then you can also see interpretation. See, what is interpretation? You're interpreting what your data is telling about. So here I'll just read one of the interpretation. Yeah, the question is, did advertisement influence your buying decision? And the response is strongly agree, neutral, disagree, and strongly disagree. The number of respondents strongly agree was 11 out of 150, agree 45, neutral, that is neither agree nor disagree 88, disagree 5, and strongly disagree only 1. So here, majority were neutral. That means, did advertisement influence your decision? No. That is the meaning. Neutral. Neutral means it neither yes or no. Okay. So maybe what agree 45. Okay. And strongly agree only 11. So that means if it is coming, so I'm interpreting and telling, if it is neutral, it is not only the advertisement, because agree and neutral is almost major, the responses. So agree 45 means, that means quite a good number. They are looking at advertisement, but they are seeking advice maybe from friends. Maybe they are going to the showroom, they're checking that out, they're taking a test drive, and they are asking people who have already purchased electric bikes what is their opinion about it, and then making a decision. So here you understand, advertisement is not sufficient. Advertisement is only for creating awareness. So don't spend too much of money on advertisement. Rather than that, what do? Try to create more awareness among people regarding these kind of bikes. See, this is the interpretation. Okay. Here, the simple interpretation is the above table shows that 7.3% of the respondents have strongly agreed that advertisement had influenced their buying decision. 30% of the respondents have agreed that advertisement had influenced their buying decisions. 58.7% of the respondents have neutral decision that advertisement had influenced their buying decisions, and 3.3% of the respondents have disagreed to advertisement having any influence on their buying decision. So that is the interpretation that they have given. So I hope you understand what it means. So once you give a table or a analysis, you do a statistical analysis, you also give an interpretation to that, so that anybody reading your paper or your research manuscript will be able to understand what it meant, because you will be knowing more about it than anyone else. Okay, so this paper also, see, you can see the chi-square, then the suggestion, conclusion, and the references. You can see the reference. This reference in this paper is much more more defined when compared to the first paper. The first paper was done by a student, so we appreciate the student doing it because he doesn't know much about referencing style and all that. But whereas this paper seems to be maybe they have a little more experience of writing a paper, and hence they have followed the style. One more thing, you need not worry about the style of writing, because most of the journals, if it's a journal or if it's a conference, even they will give you a guideline as to how they expect you to, in what format you have to write the paper. Okay, so if you've already done a research study, you can put it in that particular format and then you can submit it to them. Okay, so this is one. Then I'll go back to the.
Ma'am, I'm having one question. Can I ask now?
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, I just seen a literature review or review of literature. Now I
Okay.
can see here on screen references. So
Yeah.
what is exact difference between those things? It seems to be same. And I heard the word citation. So what exactly is literature, references, and citation? What is the difference? Is there any difference at all?
Yes, there is a difference. I had mentioned this yesterday. I'll repeat that again now. When you are doing a study, you need to go through and find out what other people have already done. Let me put it this way. You want to buy a mobile handset. Okay, a simple one, or maybe a television set, or maybe a refrigerator for your home. Would you go directly to the shop, ask the shopkeeper, I want a refrigerator, please send it home, I'm giving you the money? Do you do that?
No, I'll ask one of my friends or families, colleagues
Exactly.
for the same.
Correct. And maybe you go through websites as well, because we have access to the internet now. So you will go through internet. Then and now if you look at the online shopping sites like maybe Flipkart and Amazon and all those, Jijau Mart, you have electronic goods there as well. So then you'll go into feedback. Don't you do that? We'll look into feedback, right? And we'll see what
I do.
people have spoken. Yeah, people have spoken about that. And then if they say it is excellent, many people have mentioned excellent, few have said no, but majority have said yes. Then you then go to the showroom and check out for that particular model, and then you feel it is good, and then you make a purchase. If majority have said it is not good, even if you go to the showroom, you might look at it, but you will have that in your mind that many people have spoken negative about it, and you will not buy this. Correct. Now what you did is review of literature indirectly. Okay, literature is something that is written. Here nothing is written. You've asked somebody for their responses, and then you've made a decision. So you've decided that this particular television is good based on so many people's feedback, right? Similar to that, when I'm doing a research study, when I'm doing some kind of a study, I want to know whether that study is going to be feasible or not. Is it useful for me to do the study because I'm spending so much of time on that, so much of effort on that? Is it going to be useful? Is it going to be useful to anybody? People, now I want to do a study on typewriters. Now, typewriter is not used anymore until unless somebody is using it as a vintage item or something like that. Now, if I want to do that study, if I try to check, it is good. Everybody might find it interesting. There may be many who have not seen the newer generation I'm talking about. They might not have seen a typewriter. So they might feel, what do I do? What is a typewriter? So they might find it interesting to know about what is a typewriter. Now, what I do is, if I go through literature and I find that very few, most of the people say it is of no use except for as a to be kept as a showpiece, or to say that to sell it later for some money, because it's a vintage item or something like that. That case, only then it is useful. And I find only few people are interested in that. Then why do I spend more time? On the other hand, now I gave an example of advertisement and sales, or let me say about a much more simpler thing like that electric bike. Now there may be a question of many things in the mind of a consumer. What if it rains, and if supposing there is a short circuit and I get a electric shock? Is electric bikes good? Another person might said, what if there is no electric power at home and I need to go home to my office in the morning? This is power shut down, and what do I do alternatively at that time? And some other person might say, I think petrol is safe. Now, when you're having so many opinion, you may want to know what people in other cities have already done. So you can't go to all the cities and do a study. What you will do, you will go through, most easiest is for us now the internet. So you go to the search engine and you ask for all studies done on electric vehicle. You read all that. Once you read that, you get an opinion. A lot of study has been done on this and many people are aware. So why should I was not aware probably much about it. So by doing a study, it's not going to help anybody because they already know about it. Let me go for something else. Or you might, after reading so much of literature, you get to know there's some areas people have not touched upon. So maybe I can do about that and, identify the problem statement there. And maybe if I express this to an two-wheeler automobile company, it might be useful for them. So literature review helps you to do something. See, you can't be doing studies for everything. But when somebody has already done, you're reading that what they've done for 5 years, took 5 years to do a study, took 6 months to do a study, took 1 year to do a study. You're reading in 15 minutes and getting an answer. That is how valuable it is. So that is literature review. And you asked me about reference. Reference is the name of that literature which I have reviewed. I'm giving credentials to that author, saying that this idea I got, or this was said by this person. So supposing somebody says electric bikes give a lot of shock. Now, who told you that? You cannot say, I know it will give a shock. Nobody listened to you. Nobody will, take your word for it. On the other hand, if you mention that in a study done by Mr. XYZ, in a place in Delhi, a particular bike, some ABC bike was, anytime there was rain or something like that, the bike, the rider of the bike felt mild shock. So who has said that? In a particular article it was published. So then you can say an article published on such and such a date or in such a journal, it was mentioned like this, and that is what I'm mentioning in my article. So you have to be careful as to what from a good company. You need to buy it from a good company. And then you in a reference also, because somebody may want to know which is that article I want to know. They can't meet you because it's published somewhere, right? Your article is published in some book. They can't come and talk to you. So they'll look into your article. They'll go to the reference and see where that article is from. They can check that. through the internet or to the library or so on. So that is the significance of the reference. I hope you understood what is literature review. You understood what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is citation. Citation is how many people have read your article and used your article for their study. That is citation. Okay. Have you got this? So it
Yes, yes, yes.
means,
Got it.
yeah, if more people are using your article, as your name is Prasan, okay. So if a lot of people have your article, many people have read it, everybody has mentioned that in their article, that means your article is really very valuable. And it is a plus point for you, isn't it? That is citation. I'm citing your article in my study. That is the meaning of citation. I hope I made myself clear.
Yes,
Okay, I
yes,
think we are
absolutely.
running short of time. I'll quickly rush through. The next is the title of the study. Try to give an attractive title to your study. Your study should have a good, it should include the contents of your study. It should be related to your study. It should create some kind of curiosity for the reader so that he can study. Why? Again, for the reason of reading that whole thing and then because you've taken so much of pain, you would want somebody to go through the whole study, read it, and then give their opinion about it and include it in their study so that you have a citation. Okay, don't make it too long. Make it, and don't make it like just 2 points. Also, it should be general. I'm not going to the journal as of now because I'll go to it in the end. But I just want to go back to that art activity because otherwise it will be incomplete. So yesterday I had asked you to do something and I hope you all have gone through that. Now what you have to do is you have to identify some suitable tool for your data collection. So obviously it is a questionnaire which will be a suitable tool for you to collect. I would want you to do this next so that, irrespective of whether webinar is there or not, this will help you to complete this and make it a successful one. Because you have spent time yesterday and today, it should be worthwhile, correct? So hence, I would suggest that you continue with this by drafting a questionnaire. Now you know your questionnaire. Yesterday, I asked you to prepare some questions to ask your people around you about that topic that you chose. Yesterday you chose a topic. I asked you to do it. Now in this session you were introduced to the format of a questionnaire. So if you have made any mistakes, you can make those corrections, or if you have not made and you have done it as per whatever was shown to you, then that is excellent. So the next thing is you have collected respondents, and then you're going to analyze the data and you're going to interpret. Now I already showed you through a ready question, an article, how the data has been analyzed and how they have interpreted the data. Now I'm going to show you an analysis using the Excel sheet. Okay, I'll just do that. Just give me a minute so that it completes the whole thing. And then the one which I told you is a journal, which I just a minute. It says because it says read only. I don't know. Yeah, is it visible now? Are you able to see the
Yes,
Excel
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
sheet? Yeah. Now I'll just show you. It's very simple, not very. I'll repeat it also so that you don't. And if you have a book or something, you can just make a note of it. See now, say supposing I met 100 respondents. You can see that I've highlighted it in yellow. I've met 100 respondents, of which I have questionnaires. Okay, I have 100 questionnaires. So out of that, I've segregated. This is classification. I told you about classification now. So I have classified. Now, out of that, I have 75 male and 25 female. Now, how do I make it, diagrammatically? How do I represent it diagrammatically? What I do is, see, I'm selecting it. I'm using the mouse and I'm selecting this. I don't have to select the 100, no need. I'm just selecting this. You saw what I've selected. I think you're able to identify that. I hope everybody is able to see that. Hello, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've selected this. Now next you go to, can you see the pointer going to insert? I've selected it and then I've gone to insert. After going to insert, I see so many diagrams here. Don't go to the pie chart and all that. The best and the most normal way of showing your representation is through a bar diagram. Okay, pie charts and all have a different there are reasons where you use a pie chart, but not for everything. To be on the safer side, it's always good to go for a bar chart. So now I've chosen bar chart. Okay, I've just chosen a bar chart. See, I got the chart. Can you see this? Now, if I just click on that chart, sorry, because I have reduced it, it's difficult. I'm finding it difficult here. You can see this quick layout because I've reduced this one to ensure that it is presented. Can you see this quick layout on the left hand corner? Just click that quick layout and I can choose the kind of chart that I want. See, now this chart here, you can see number of respondents. I can change this. Okay, I can write this chart number 1, chart 1 showing, and I can mention whatever. This is access title. I can write number of respondents. And here I have a table also. It is showing male 75, female 25. So how do I interpret? I can say that the number of respondents, the male members were more when compared to female members. So that means this study will give more responses based on the mindset of men than women because it's not equal. See, that is an interpretation. I hope you understand. Let us go to one more chart. I'll show you one more chart. Now here, there's another one. Your preferred brand for chips. That's the question. Okay. And for that, the answer is Bingo, 34. I've answered for that. Uncle Chips, 45. Frito-Lays, 26. And Pringles, 56. So totally the answer. I don't need the total because person buying Bingo chips might also say, I like even Frito-Lays. Or a person liking chips may say, I eat any chips as long as I like. So I put right for all the 4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose all this. So the next is insert. Then I go to chart. Yeah, sorry, I think not necessary to. I'm choosing this using my mouse. I'm going to insert. I'm going to bar. You can use the other one also if you feel you don't want to use this. You want to see how it looks using a pie chart. Yeah, this is pie chart for you. And you want the names to come. You can, I told you, just click on this. You will get. I need to spread it out. Okay, so that it's not otherwise showing. Yeah. Now you have a quick layout. You see the quick layout which has come. See, you can see the percentage. Is it visible? See, this is giving you the itinerary also here. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Or better than using this is always the correct one. You will never go wrong. Go to this, check it, and then you can go to quick layout and you can use this table form or you can use any one form, whichever you think is suitable, you can use that. See, there's a legend also. You can use that. See, this legend is there. Bingo, Uncle Chips, Frito-Lays, and Pringles. So, Mr. Jadhav, can you please mute? Mr. Jadhav, can you please mute your mic? Please mute your mic. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I've done it.
Yeah, thank you. So this is see now. So how do I interpret this? I think you got now, got the concept now. So from my study, I understand that Pringles is more popular than any other chips because there are more number of people who prefer Pringles when compared to Bingo, Uncle Chips, and Frito-Lays. This and the least preferred is Frito-Lays. Then then you can make a further question as to find out why they like Pringles and not Frito-Lays. So then they may say Pringles taste, they have so many varieties, or it is cheaper, or there is more quality into that, because we all make fun of those potato chips packets. You've seen it looks so bulky, but when you open it you'll get only 4 or 5. So maybe that is quantity is less. Pringles, maybe the quantity is more, or maybe the taste is better. Whatever, we do not know. Only when we do research, we understand what is in the mind of a consumer. And so Frito-Lays gets to know that, then they can improvise their product to match with what Pringles or Uncle Chips is, because they seem to be the least. I hope I'm making myself clear. Or I'll do one more. Your preferred accompaniment with chips. So it is the answers that you've already given to tick. Soft drinks. So if you give an open-ended questions, what happened? So someone had asked me, right? Now I hope I've made that also clear. If you give an open-ended question, somebody may write something which is not there at all, and it may be the only one. You might find it difficult. Okay, they may put something like rasam. What will you do? So instead, you can give them an option and you can club it all together. So here I've taken this, I've selected, then I go to insert. Then from insert, you have so many, you can choose any one. But as I said, it's always safer to go for, yeah. So here, see, maximum people along with chips, they feel aerated drinks are better. Aerated drinks are like, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They feel that is better. Some feel coffee and tea. Very few I've chosen fruit juice after eating chips, and so on. I hope I've made myself clear. So this is how it is. I'm just closing this. I'm going back to the presentation. Okay. So that was the analysis which I wanted you to see and understand. And when it comes to that, one slide, which I said I'll show you later. This is about a journal. This is just a journal which I had. You can choose, you can go through any set of journals that you find on the internet, or maybe in your library. You'll find a lot of journals. You can just check that out. I'll just show you a journal. Yeah. Now this is the journal, the one which I had with me. So I'm just showing you. This is a journal, and then I'm just quickly going through the journal. In fact, I wanted to show the MTC journal, but I didn't find time to sit. I found this immediately, so I just put it. We don't need all these things. Yeah. Now these are the articles, contents of this particular journal.
Ma'am, journal is not visible. Your previous PPT only visible.
Yeah, is it? Okay. Now is it visible?
Yes, now it is.
Okay. This is a journal. Like I said, I wanted to show MTC journal, but I'm so sorry I couldn't find time. But you'll find it on the net, no problem. You go to ResearchGate, you'll find it. So this is just about the journal, the editor, and so on. And sometimes some journals will have a theme. It may be on a particular theme, or it can be only for marketing, or only for HR, or only for finance. You can have journals like that. Now, this is a general journal. See, these are the contents of the journal. So there are so many articles here. One is on crop diversification. One is on a paradigm shift in the banking sector. One is a study on to analyze the significant usage of smartphones among men and women in Mysuru city. Then another one is an advancement of fintech in the emerging financial market sectors. Then another one is analysis of relationship of selected agricultural commodities. A study on factors affecting consumers' preference for customized products with special reference to Bangalore city. So like this you'll have. And then see, I'm coming to the first article. This is the journal which is published in a journal. Somebody is written on crop diversification, a study on challenges of farmers in Tripura. See, it starts with, can you see this? You have the title, you have the authors, then you have the abstract. After that, you have the keywords. I told you how the keywords helps in. So when somebody, I want to do a study on consumer preference on bikes, if I mention that in the Google search engine, not Google, any search engine, Google is the most preferred search engine, that's all. So if I mention study on electric bikes, then if I mention here in the keywords electric bikes, there is more chances of my article coming up, in one of the first few, so that the person who's reading will read mine also, and then citations might happen. Now citation, there's a total story, different concept altogether. We can't spend time there, we'll be diverting. So here, this is enough. Then we come to introduction, then review of literature. See, I've showed you 2, 3, and I'm sure you understand the process is the same. Format is the same. Objective of the study, methods and material, results and findings, problems faced by the respondent, that is limitations. Okay. Then these are the statistical analysis that they have done. And then, see, this is all this analysis. See, you can see here, hypothesis. There is no significant difference that exists between the problems faced by the shifting cultivations in rubber and other cultivation. So this is the hypothesis, and they said that they accept that null hypothesis. That means whatever they said, they cannot nullify it. They cannot, take it away. They have to accept it, that because through their study, that is what they found out. They, then this is the diagrammatic representations as well, graphical representations, and their study. And then after the conclusion, it always ends with a reference. So somebody asked me a question about reference. I hope you're able to understand. So this reference means they've referred all these things which they have mentioned in their study, where in the review of literature. So if you see that name, you'll find that name somewhere here. See here, Syriac 1986, or Usha Devi 2001. So let us go to Usha Devi. Let us say that's an easy name for us to remember. It should be present here. See here, can you see Usha Devi? Somebody asked me a question about that. Reference. Did you get the answer?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. And if I use this same study written by this author, who's the author here? Dr. Suman Kalyan Chaudhary. So if I use this study for this outcome of this study, they have mentioned something like shifting agriculture cultivation, or they have done a hypothesis which they said they accepted. So if I use outcome of their study for my study, then I'm citing their study. Okay. I hope that is clear. So like this, there are so many articles here, all following the same process. Different articles, but they are following the same process. See, conclusion, reference. Then again, abstract, introduction, review of literature. Then objectives, scope of the study, research methodology, interpretation, conclusion, and reference. So this goes on. So I hope it is clear. I think I can conclude now. Sorry if I've taken more time. It was not intentional, but it somehow went. I too never knew how the time rushed. But I'm so sorry if I've taken more of your time. Is there any questions? We can have a few questions. Any questions? Okay, I think there are no questions, sir. Over
Yes,
to
ma'am.
over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and explaining so well and in a simple way so that
Thank you,
all of
sir.
us can understand. Because majority of the participants are students, MBA students, as I
Okay.
informed to you. There
Yeah.
are some faculty members and research scholars are also there.
Yes.
And session was indeed, it was very well received yesterday also and today also.
Oh, thank you
I
so much.
listened to your
Thank you
sessions.
so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And for the students, exclusively for the students, those who are present today, I'll circulate a feedback form in the group. Okay, so you have to fill up, as your director said. And research scholars and faculty, we don't need any feedback, okay, because they are matured and grown up. So it's all on mutual trust and common understanding. Your certificate you will be getting today is what, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. By Monday, all of you will receive your e-certificate in your email. And thank you once again. And thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
for
Thank you
that.
so much, and good night. My best wishes to everyone. My best wishes to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye
Thank
then.